Hey guys, Martin here bringing you a Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so today we are going to be talking about the Dokkan Festival baby banner that will be coming out very soon in the game. This video is going up at 10 PM UK time and the banner is out at 6 AM. So if you're watching this as soon as it goes up, obviously shout out to you guys, shout out to the notification squad, but this banner will be out 8 hours after this video has dropped. So as always, we'll be doing this video here to talk about the banner, talk about who we think the lineup should be, and of course answer that age-old question of should you summon or should you skip. So obviously we can see here, I've started on this page here, we're part of Proton's data download thread. This banner does of course have its own pity coin because it is a filler Dokkan Festival banner. So obviously you get 10 of these per multi and you need 200 in order to get a copy of baby guaranteed. And of course every extra SSR that you pull that is already rainbowed you can trade in for a couple of extra coins. Now this is the JP data download, so obviously it doesn't feature any of the stuff like obviously there will be purchasable ticket packs for global. So if you're someone who does spend money on the game, the purchasable ticket packs are always a good shot. They are usually better value than just buying stones, like in terms of what you get in terms of number of units, like the number of summons. The tickets are usually better value than just buying stones, and you do get some pity coins for using the ticket packs as well. Now the big thing about the banner having a pity system, these Dokkan Fest TUR like filler banners, is obviously that means that we are pretty much guaranteed that this banner is going to have 10 featured units. So if we take a look back here at the Mercenary Tau banner, now this guy was the last Dokkan Fest exclusive TUR to release in the game, because of course after this guy we went into the global Dokkan campaign, which lasted for, you know, almost like, well, it's just over an entire month, and then we had the filler Peppy Gal's banner and then went straight into the Transcendent Dokkan campaign, the Tanabata replacement. So Tao was actually the last Dokkan Fest exclusive TUR, and obviously he had a 10 featured unit banner with the pity system. So this banner for the upcoming baby will be something similar to this. We should obviously see the first return of a new Dokkan, of an old Dokkan Fest as well, which would obviously be where Buhan was situated on this banner. Obviously the first 2 slots will be taken up by Dokkan Fest Baby and then the GT Possessed Trunks. Trunks seems decent. I haven't seen any of the like early showcase stuff. Trunks seems like a good addition for Baby's team, although he has that questionable part of his passive that does kind of want him to be in slot 1, which for a T like a banner unit, I don't know if he's going to be defensively viable enough to be at slot 1. I mean, it makes sense because Baby is a slot 2 unit, but I feel like, you know, with these banner units, you probably want them to just be slot 3 floating supports that have a little bit of defense to back them up. But we'll see how good Trunks is, of course, once these guys are actually out. So if we think about what the banner lineup is going to be, obviously Baby and Dokkan Possessed Trunks, Dokkan Possessed, Baby Possessed Trunks, and then when we go on to the Buhan slot, for the Dokkan Fest that should be returning for the first time, that should be STR Cell. The Buhan was the Dokkan Fest that came out before STR Cell, so he should be next in line to get his first return. Now, he shares a couple of categories with Baby, like they're on Target Goku, they're on Artificial Life Forms. I'm assuming the Baby, I haven't double checked all of his categories, but I'm assuming the Baby is on Transformation Boost, considering he transforms like the actual card. But unfortunately, this version of Cell, this isn't like the super perfect Cell like after he revives, so he doesn't have Battle of Fate, so he's actually not on Baby's team. But you know, that's not going to stop them from bringing him back, right? Going back to this banner again, like Buhan was not on Tao's team, but it was just his turn for that unit to return for the first time, right? So Cell should be the 3rd featured unit on the banner. And then when it comes to who else is going to be on the banner, it's just kind of like, sometimes it can seem very random, but you know, we've got, if we look at back at the Tau banner here, like we got a bunch of androids, Android 21, Gamma 1 and 2. Like, I guess Gamma 1 and 2 are on mission execution, I think, right? So I guess that kind of makes sense for Tao's banner. But like, Rose doesn't really make a lot of sense being here. Topo, are the Pride Troopers on mission execution? I can't remember. But like, a lot of the units on this banner don't really make a huge amount of sense in terms of being related to the upcoming unit. And then obviously Ginyu did get his Easy A during the celebration. So that's one big thing with these banners, where usually a slot is given to a character who is going to get an Easy A. So with that being said, and I obviously did the video talking about who I think will Easy A during this celebration, I think if Int Majin Vegeta is featured on the banner, that pretty much confirms that he's going to get an Easy A. Now, I do think that that is sort of the case for a couple of characters that we're going to talk about, where if they are on the banner, it basically just means that they are going to Easy A or Super Easy A, right? Because they are so old, but they are the candidates for Easy A or Super Easy A. So I still think that the Majin Vegeta is probably the #1 pick, like probably one of the best options for getting an Easy A for this celebration, because not only is he on Baby's full 220% lead because of the Corroded Body and Mind and then Final Trump card, but even if they don't change it drastically with his Easy A, because they could add other restriction like other characters or other categories, but currently his intro buff is restricted to when there is a Trunks on the team, but it's any card that includes Trunks in any way, shape or form, right? It doesn't have the thing like with some characters where they need a Goku and then it will say like Kid not included, like Ginyu not included, all that kind of thing, right? This doesn't say that. So any card that has Trunks in the name will activate Majin Vegeta's intro, and as we've already mentioned again here, like the banner unit for Baby is a GT Trunks. Even though he is the Tuffle possessed version, he is a Trunks. So that Baby banner unit will activate Majin Vegeta's intro buff, and therefore Majin Vegeta with a solid Easy A should be pretty good on Baby's team. Baby is supporting Corroded Body and Mind characters, giving them extra attack. I guess the only thing would potentially be Ki on the team for this Majin Vegeta could be a bit of an issue, but I guess if he's getting an Easy A now, and with the idea for him to go on that Baby team, they could give him extra Ki in his passive, or just give him like orb changing. He has random orb changing, creating in orbs when HP is 88% or less. So that could be added onto. Maybe he could create rainbow orbs just in general. That'd be kind of helpful, because it helps out the rest of the team as well. Also helps him for hitting these milestones, for getting the different amounts of key spheres that he needs if there's rainbow orbs dotted around. So this guy has great potential for an Easy A, and so if he's featured on the banner in that like Ginyu slot on the Tau banner, that will pretty much confirm that he's going to get an Easy A, because he doesn't really fit the theme otherwise, apart from being on the team. Like, it'd be really weird for him to be on the banner and him not get an Easy A, because of course, you know, he's over 3 years old at this point, very outdated in terms of actually being usable in the endgame content. But I'm very much hoping to see him on the banner and see him get an Easy A. Now, another unit that I think could potentially return, we do have the Scouter Vegeta. Scouter Vegeta released October 2024, and I believe, did STR sell? No, because this is late last year. Scouter Vegeta obviously could be useful for that Extreme AGL festival mission, so I feel like this guy could release around that time, because Tau released, was it like March? No, when did the GDC start? Yeah, it was around like the March time, right? The time should be on here. No, it was May, the 30th of May. So it was the May Dokkan Fest. I could see Vegeta being a featured unit just because of the Extreme Festival mission. And he's not a unit that I think a lot of people would super want to pull in general, but could obviously be helpful in defeating that mission. He's not relevant to Baby though really at all, outside of obviously the minor tie of the fact that he is Vegeta, but they don't really share any categories, I'm pretty sure. No. So maybe not a high possibility, but could be useful for some people for the mission. The other one that I think could be interesting is the Rose. Now, he was on the Tau banner. We've already seen him on that previous image, but obviously this guy is a Corroded Body and Mind character. So him returning again would kind of make sense for going on Baby's team. Baby requires a full Corroded Body and Mind rotation in order to get part of his passive active. And unfortunately, Corroded Body and Mind isn't in the best shape in terms of like crazy meta-relevant characters. I mean, I guess the problem is as well, this guy really wants super bosses characters on the team, so you can't just throw him on a Corroded Body and Mind team. And then he's not going to be on, obviously he's not on GT bosses, he's not on Final Trump Card. I've forgotten what Baby's other one is, but yeah, I'm pretty sure he's not on the full leader skill either. And this is the problem, like, as we talked about in the video going over Baby's details, like, Baby's team is going to be very weird and very probably much reliant on the easy A's that happen during this celebration. But obviously we talked about the Vegeta already. The other unit that I could potentially expect to see in one of the slots on this banner, which would then confirm that they're going to get a super easy A, is either going to be the AGL Android Super 17. I don't know why I said Android, just because I saw the word at the top there. Super 17 it could get a super easy A. He is on Battle of Fate, he's on GT bosses, so he's on the full leader skill. Could be a really good slot 1 tank. I'm trying to think in terms of like what would make sense, which I know is dangerous when it comes to Dokkan, because they don't always like to do things that make sense. But Baby is not a slot 1 unit. He needs strong slot 1 units on his team. So this guy getting a super ECA would obviously be very good for that. Or of course the other 120 lead option for a super ECA is the Janemba, who is on Corroded Body and Mind. Now he's only going to get the 170 lead from Baby, because he's only on Corroded Body and Mind in terms of Baby's leader skill. But again, this Janemba with a super ECA could be a very solid slot 1 unit for that team, allowing Baby to go in slot 2. They have big bad bosses, they have Metamorphosis. I think he has Nightmare as well, doesn't he, Baby? So they actually would share like 4 links, which would be cool. So this guy being featured on the banner, absolutely. If it's this guy or this guy on the banner, I feel like that almost confirms that they're going to get a super easy A. If this guy's on there, I feel like that confirms he's going to get a normal easy A. And then when it comes to the rest of the units, like I say, it is just kind of a bit up in the air. It could really be almost anything. Like, you know, like we've got Dokkan Fest Tau. Why is like Android 21? Yamcha's there, I guess, because like Earthlings. So any other GT, like it doesn't even have to be Baby's leader skill. The thing is, when you looked, I looked at some of the categories to bring up some of these characters, and like Battle of Fate is one of those interesting categories where so many of the characters are LRs that when you look for like the actual TURs, there's very few characters on there. There's the Int Piccolo Jr., who obviously is going to be probably always remain the best World Tournament character, but because of him being a dual Dokkan Fest with the 23rd World Tournament Goku, it's very like unlikely. They don't usually return those units, like just one of them on a solo banner. So I mean, they could both be on this banner, I guess, but then 23rd World Tournament Goku being there doesn't really make a huge amount of sense. So Baby's banner, like to sort of break it down really to the conclusion, like his banner is not going to feature anything super crazy, right? There'll be a couple of units that we could expect to see on the banner if they're going to get an easy A, and obviously, you know, those will be older units, not necessarily worth summoning on the banner for. STR Cell being the unit that returns for the first time. I mean, STR Cell, even on release, wasn't particularly good. Got a little bit of help shortly after, and then, you know, I feel like with the GDC content and everything has just aged out already. So you wouldn't really ideally be summoning on the banner specifically for Cell. And then, yeah, characters like if the Scout of Vegeta is on there, I don't think summoning on the banner just to try and get him because of that festival mission, which you could quite easily wait until a bunch of other units have come out. The banner is definitely not going to have a huge amount of value in my opinion. So even though Baby certainly seems like he could be pretty good, I think it's not going to surprise a lot of people when we say that when it comes to this banner, I feel like this is probably a pretty easy skip for most people. And largely due to, as we always talk about in these summon or skip videos, it's largely due to the timing as well. Like, not only will the banner not be super great, but obviously, you know, if you want the new unit, if the new unit is really good, a lot of the time it doesn't really matter if the rest of the banner isn't great. It's obviously a bonus when the banner is actually good. But the thing is, even with Baby being a solid unit, we're in that time period now where like 3 months from now, the anniversary is going to be starting. And all we've really got between now and then is a couple of filler Dokkan Fest, the New Year's Dual Dokkan Fest. We haven't got any of these big celebrations that give out like, you know, 1,000 stones free to play. So if you look at the amount of stones you've got right now, bear in mind that between now and the anniversary, you're probably only going to get, I think it's somewhere between, a filler celebration can give out around about 100 stones, maybe 200 if they're being generous with content. So if you look at the amount of stones you have now, you're potentially only going to get sort of like 400, 500, maybe 600 extra stones for free between now and when the anniversary starts. So if you use all the stones you have now on summoning for baby or summoning for whoever comes out in November, you know, you're not going to have a huge amount of stones going into the anniversary. Even with the large amount of stones they give out during the anniversary, it means you're not going to be able to hit the pity. So it's just one of those unfortunate things for characters that come out in this time slot. If you're free to play or you only spend a little bit on the game here and there, unfortunately it's probably just always in your best interest to skip these filler Dokkan Fests. If you're a mid-level like a Dolphin, or like you just really like Baby, then doing a few summons here and there is not going to be the end of the world, especially with the fact that, as I should have mentioned with these banners with the pity coins, every third multi is a guaranteed featured. So if you feel like you can spare 150 stones, I'm sure there will be people out there that will pull Baby as the first, like the third multi-guaranteed featured step. And of course, do remember that there is the free tickets. I made the video talking about that earlier. Everybody is going to get 28 tickets as long as you do the missions for Dokkan Day and the Seriously Serious event. So if you're someone who's lucky enough, you use those free tickets and you do actually pull Baby, then yeah, even if you are someone who was like hyped for him, I would say you just take your W and don't spend any stones at that point, right? I have still never pulled one of the new units off the free tickets, so maybe my luck will turn around this time. But yeah, as I'm sure is no surprise to most people, the overall verdict when it comes to summon or skip is that this banner should be a skip for most players, unless you are a massive Baby fan or if you're a whale or collector and you're just going to summon on every banner regardless. But for most people, unfortunately, I feel like this banner is a pretty straightforward, pretty easy skip. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Who else do you think will be featured on the banner? Are you tempted to summon? And like I say, I will be live for when the banner comes out, so I'll summon so you don't have to. Hopefully I will see you guys there, and hopefully we can get some good luck. So let me know all of your thoughts down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new, check out the links down below, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.